Hey night, and this is Mark of Sea Science Film Lab. I'm here with my favorite lab tech, Jolene.
Hello.
And Victoria.
Oh.
We're all chilling. I mean, they got some work to do around the labs. I don't know if they're gonna stay through the whole thing. You know. Open mic, join the chat, and we'll be talking about paleoanthropology, how corrupt people are, and some of the discoveries. So, all right, I'm gonna drop in there. I don't know how it works. So we're also hooked up to the Twitter, the X account too for the Sea Science Film Lab. I don't know if there's like a chat for that too, but we'll see.
There should be.
So we can start by looking at photos here. And the first one is, or should know how the streamer will be if you can even press right. I got no one to check my mic, so we'll see.
I'm trying to get mine uploaded so I can check your mic in just a second here.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I think that we're on like a 10-second delay, so we'll see. What do you guys think of that little critter? It's like a monkey with feet.
Pretty sexy looking little critter there.
3 feet and 5 inches.
Wow.
So that's pretty short. 36. 1 inches tall. Yeah, like 41 inches tall. That's
would make like nice for a little hairy wife for you. I mean, they say that there are ancestors, you know. I mean, if I was a male, I don't think I had a hairy wife like that. I mean, no offense against Lucy here, but if I was a man, I sure wouldn't want a wife looking like that.
Or even if you were like a male chimpanzee, like why would you pick the one that's out walking around like some strange, I don't know. That looks.
I mean, that looks, yeah.
So to other apes, even they'd probably like, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah, like, you know.
I would never populate, and I don't know. What do you think, Victoria?
I definitely stay away from that one.
Oh yeah, she's beautiful, guys. Look at that. Give us a kiss.
The little button nose. And that brow ridge is really something.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, that is a pretty sexy looking smile there. I mean, that's not...
Yeah, she has all good lips. But all this is imaginary because, they didn't find her face. So this is all like an artistic
view.
Yeah. So, yeah.
The skull complete unit isn't
the whole body. All of it is,
Sure. Let's take that. Bring it up. The stream works sometimes it doesn't. My connection problem. If it works even less when I'm changing the photo, I guess that's probably my connection. I don't know. But I did watch the show earlier and it was pretty rough. It was like every other second was silent. And it was like someone was screwing with it. I think she was listening to some of the music we were playing earlier.
There we go.
Oh my goodness, is that the picture I tried to load?
That is the picture you were trying to load.
Wow. All right, so yeah, this thing is not complete. Tori pointed out also the body was in pieces, and it was just kind of so. Yeah. But that is what's really interesting, what stands out to me, if the face. Am I gonna lose this again? Don't do it. Don't go. Here we go. All right. So here you have Lucy's face, and you can see that it's kind of caved in, sort of like a bowl-shaped face. So, like, what I'm saying is the brows are way, and kind of got like a canine almost looking junction out and going in an ape.
Well, that's
Where
the
they got the
tip
long
coming.
tongue and yeah. Bowl. It's pretty ape, and it's even more chimpanzee than say gorilla. Like, so it's interesting. If this photo, I have already loaded on. Yeah, it did it. It did it again. All right. Yeah. All right. So, as you can see, the chimpanzee skull dips in. See, Victoria?
Yeah.
So the nose and the brow ridge is way out and protruding way out where the nose would be in and the eyes are way in. And I mean, for the chimpanzee, it's so evident because they got that bowl-shaped face. And if you see straight on, you'll see like that bowl thing. But you know, with the human skull, it's just kind of straight down. Like there is no, I mean, there's a brow ridge, but it's not like, you know, as protrudent. But I mean, your brow ridge grows, I guess they say, and you know, some people have more protrudent brow ridges than others. And I'm sorry about the connection tonight. I'm actually working on something right now, maybe another way to connect, and it'll be a little bit clearer. So there'll probably be moments of clarity and the moments of obfuscation and just muckied up water, you know. And Yeah, yeah. Sure. Oh, yeah. So, yes. So they have the concaveness of the chimpanzee skull, but like you compare that to even other ape skulls, like the gorilla. That switched pretty quick. Okay, maybe I am on time. And I mean, it goes in, but it's still flatter. So it's a, but, that's what makes me believe that this Afarensis critter has a chimpanzee skull because it's so much more chimp appearing than gorilla appearing. So even amongst the apes, it appears to be very chimpanzee like. All right. So that is just dry and boring material, I'm sure. But I mean, we can have some fun with this, right? I don't know. I keep connecting and unconnecting. Oh no! Oh, I see. All right. So from the Sea Lab, we were looking at these tiny Sasquatch beings, 4 to 5 feet tall. So the height of a 5 to 8-year-old, maybe.
4 or 5 feet tall. I'm 5 foot tall.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm 5'1".
Well, yeah.
So I would say that's a short female.
Sure. Yeah, that's true too. Good point. Yeah, there's a lot of differences. Dimorphism is what it's called. There's sexes.
Yes.
So dimorphism, and there can be age dimorphism, and there can be population dimorphism, and I forget the other one, but yeah, all good points. Oh, there's a lot of messages coming in on the other line. All right, so yeah, so basically, it's our opinion. I think that these Afarensis skulls are chimpanzee skulls. For this, like this one right here, for instance, you see the protrusion of the brow ridge and the cave-inness or the concaveness of the face, where the eyes and the nose are really sunken, and the jaw protrudes. Which is a lot like, I mean, their jawline is a lot more like a dog's than it is a human. The way it juts out so far. So, and their canines are so much larger, and the way that their canines protrude during the course of their life is different altogether. Because the entire skeletal system between apes and humans is different. Because humans are not apes, as they all try to claim we are, and change the definitions of words to confuse the English language, to push their BS narrative onto the public. I think we both see eye to eye on that, right, Victoria?
I would agree.
All
yes, right. I would fully agree with that.
All right. So let's take a look at one of these jaws here. Just to show you. I mean, you can see from this side view of the chimpanzee skull just how much longer and more animal dog-like their jaws are. I don't know. Like, they're not the same as humans, as the evolutionists try to claim. Here you have a good bottom view or inferior view of the skull, where you see the maxillary arcade, which is the top jaw's teeth arcade arch. So yeah, that's way different than a human's. How much different? Now with that is bonobo skull, and the canines aren't completely protruded yet. However, here's a different set. And this would be an adult chimpanzee on the left, and the center is an afarensis claim from the Hadar region, or the same place that Lucy was discovered. But I believe that is part of the first family collection of the AL333-1 collection. So it's a different site on the same range of hills as Lucy was found. As you can see, it looks very ape-like. There's claims made that the robust molars prove that it's not chimpanzee, and I argue that there are varieties and different populations of chimpanzees across Africa, for one. And the size of their molars vary between populations. So it's possible that there was a robust chimpanzee species that's been lost to time. But finding a skull like this, or a piece of skull, this maxilla here in the center, and claiming that it's anything but an ape or some tree-dwelling ape chimpanzee, I don't know how you would see some transition there. I mean, the arcade matches exactly with the other chimpanzees and nothing like the human. So they say with the human jaw, there's a V-shaped arcade. If you draw a line through the molars, it makes a V shape. Where if you were to draw a line through the molars of the ape, it makes more of parallel lines, and they say it's a U-shaped jawline or a U-shaped arcade. So you have the V-shaped human arcade and the U-shaped ape arcade. Another way that apes are obviously not humans. Okay, I mean, apes are as different from humans as any other animal I can think of, especially with this jaw here. Canines define life, you know, and they come in different ways. So it's fully a different species. To claim that we're all the same species is ridiculous. So the level where our population can breed, like there's evolutionists that think that chimpanzees can successfully breed. It's actually been experiments done proving it wrong, and they try to do in vitro both ways, or what is it? Artificial insemination.
Artificial insemination.
You know, both ways, and it failed. You know, because they're trying to prove evolution, and they'll go to any length to try and prove that nonsense. I guess even prove it, even to do something as disgusting as that and immoral. I'd say that's pretty immoral.
That's very immoral.
So here you have the claim afarensis arcade. Okay, and this is one that was made up from also same jaw from Hadar. This is one of the only maxillary arcades that they have that's claimed to belong to an afarensis for one. So this is likely the same maxilla, and that was included in this, but it's, you know, it's dark brown, so it's not part of the Lucy discovery. So it's the afarensis AL28-D. The dark brown sections are imagined and from other discoveries or other claims, and then they were sort of included in the skull to make up the Lucy skull. So that light brown piece on top there, and you know, this is what makes up the Lucy skull. This is a white version of that same model, where the white is the imagined parts. Okay, so you have a situation where there's actually no maxilla to speak of, yet there's a maxilla on this other example, on this dark brown example. So as you can see with the white, there's no piece that make up a maxilla on the Lucy discovery. So the dark brown is completely imagined. And what there is, you know, as far as the maxilla that's been discovered, it looks very ape-like. You can see like these nutcracker, very robust apes. Imagine that these pieces connect to human parts, as shown in this photo. Yeah.
Okay, let me pull this up again.
Yeah, you have
This
basically
is
chimpanzee top and a human bottom.
So this is from the National Geographic on a human pig hybrid that was created in the labs, and a remarkable, if likely, oh, hold on, what's going on here? Let's see, why is this not letting me in here? Oh, it's gonna make me log in. Give me a second.
That's all right.
Well,
I've heard
go
about
ahead and go
I've heard
with
about
your
that whole
thing.
thing with them
But and
mixing
I'll
a
pull this
pig
up.
and a human.
Yeah, but they
Embryos.
mixed a pig and a human together to create. Here we go.
Now here it goes.
In a remarkable, if
Okay, actually-
likely controversial feat, scientists announced today that they have first successful human-animal hybrids. Project proves human cells can be introduced into a non-human organism, survive, and even grow inside a host animal. We'll go back up and show
Sorry, I'll
the
show
picture.
you the photo and then the citation there.
Okay.
Click, and then you can
And then I'll go back.
back up.
This biometrical advance has long been a dream and a quandary for scientists, hoping to address a critical shortage of donor organs. Every 10 minutes, a person is added to the national waiting list for organ transplant, and every day, 22 people on that list die without the organs they need. What if, rather than relying on a generous donor, you could grow a custom organ inside an animal instead? That's one step closer to reality. An international team of researchers led by the Stock Institute reports in the journal Cell. The team created what's known scientifically as a chimera, an organism that contains a cell from two different species. And I don't know if a lot of people know about the TV show that was aired called Teen Wolf. I had people back in the day send me clips from the show, but in the show, they had these chimeras basically, which were human and animal hybrids that were made by some evil scientist or something like that. And originally, one of my friends was like, "You realize they're actually real chimeras in life?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "I've actually seen videos and pictures that my dad, who is very big into like conspiracy theories and stuff like that, have shown me. I've literally seen a mouse that had a human ear grown on it and different things like that. I've seen really freaky lab creatures, and there was that lamb that they grew that was like basically a test tube baby and everything.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. What was the name of that lamb?
I was actually
It
going to
wasn't
look
lamb
that
chops,
up
but I know
next.
it was something.
Yeah, I was
It was
actually
like-
going to look that up next because I
something
can't
memorable,
remember
I
the
know
name
that.
of it at the moment.
So, you know, you have these animals, and you know, it's interesting you mention chimera, because I've actually had creationists in our community claim that that's what these animals are. It's a
Yes.
chimera. And you know, it's like, do they really understand what they're saying? Because biologically, it's exactly what you just said. It's a mix of two different species together. They can't usually be normal. So it's like these young Earth creation community claiming chimera with the basically claiming that humans and apes got together at some point in time, and this is some offshoot of humanity actually, and that's that's craziness.
And the thing is, though, is to build a chimera, there are two ways to do it, and both are very hard. It says the first is to introduce organs of one animal into another, a risky proposition, because the host immune system may cause the organ to be rejected.
Which I was going to just say, not to interrupt you too much, much, but
No,
like,
go ahead.
yeah, the whole they're already putting like organs in the people, you know. So like these people are by definition chimera.
Yes.
So
You know, and even they've even used animal blood and different things like that for blood transfusions and everything. But even with human organ as a transplant, you always have the risk of the organ not being accepted in the other person's body.
yeah,
They have to go on lots of different medications and everything like that. So same with an animal organ being introduced into a human's body or a human organ being introduced into the animal's body, you have that risk.
and like you said, these are medical processes. Like that's what it would take. This doesn't
Yeah.
happen naturally in
No,
nature.
no,
You know,
this
even
won't
this,
happen naturally.
if you're going to inject DNA into an embryo, you know, the other way.
And
they
see,
kinda-
that's the other method it
Right.
says is to begin at the embryonic level, introducing one animal cell into the embryo and another letting them grow together into a hybrid. But it has to be done by the vitro fertilization.
Sure.
It cannot be done naturally.
And then in most cases it has to be done at the embryonic stage, and they're actually taking DNA from the host, or that they want to inject into this host. I mean,
Yes.
and then they're putting that into the embryo, and that's what they did with the sheep. So like the sheep came out anyway like a sheep. Like the sheep looked like a sheep,
Yes. Yes.
but it had human DNA in it too,
Yes.
because it was injected in the embryonic stage.
Well, basically because they're using the stem cells to produce the body tissues and everything. So it seems like they have infinite science and everything, but convincing the cells to grow right into tissues and organs is a difficult process, and is what the scientists are still trying to figure out.
Yeah, so they're
Because-
playing this off as like the up part of this is that we'd be able to harvest organs from these animals and put them into people.
Yeah.
That's what they're selling it on.
And basically it goes, and often patients must undergo painful invasive procedures to harvest the tissues needed to even kick off the process. It says at first, Juan Carlos Sua Belmonte, a professor in Salk's Institute Gene Expression Laboratory, thought the concept of using a host embryo to grow organs seemed straightforward enough. However, it took Belmonte and more than 40 collaborators 4 years to figure out how to make a human animal chimera. To do so, the team piggybacked off of prior chimera research conducted on mice and rats.
Wow. I'll get a photo of that too, I think.
Yeah, in a little bit we'll see about getting the photo of the rat with, or the mouse with the human ear that they have.
There we go. So this is now the human. This isn't a.
This is the one with the human ear. This
Let me
one
skip
with-
back to the citation. Human pig hybrid created in lab here. Aaron Blackmore. And this
is from back on.
National Geographic.
Yeah.
So this is from National Geographic.
This was from back
website.
in July,
is an actual-
January of 20.
Yeah, this is a peer-reviewed
16.
article. So that's a human ear and rat. That's a
Yeah.
human ear.
This is a chimera spraying from a mouse
Oh,
with a
oh.
stem cell. The human ear is the one
No,
that
that's a rat ear on a rat.
Yeah, that's the rat. The human ear is the one I'm going to be pulling up.
I can't wait to see this thing. All right, so
Let's
I guess
see
that's
here.
interesting, but like, would you want an organ like grown on another animal, harvested, and then put on your body? I guess, I don't know, maybe. I mean, you get them from other people. If you need them, you need them. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's worthwhile.
Yeah.
As long, yeah, and then then they escape the whole cloning human thing to harvest body organs if they can grow it on other animals.
So
So that's
This goes on. It says the team took stem cells from rats, injected them into pig blastocysts. This version failed, not surprisingly, since rats and pigs have dramatically different gestation times and evolutionary ancestors. But pigs have notable similarities to humans, though they take less time to gestate. Their organs look a lot like ours. Not that these similarities made the task any easier. The team discovered that in order to introduce human cells into the pigs without killing them, they had to get the timing just right. We tried 3 different types of human cells, essentially representing 3 different times in the developmental process, explains John Wu, a Salk Institute scientist and the paper's first author. Through trial and error, they learned that naive and pluripotent cells, stem cells with unlimited potential, didn't survive as well as when those just right human cells were injected into the pig embryos. The embryos survived. Then they were put into the adult pigs, which carried the embryos for between 3 and 4 weeks before they were removed and analyzed. And all the team created 186 later stage chimera embryos that survived, says Wu. And we estimate each had but 1 in 1,000 human cells. That's a low percentage, and it could be presented a problem for a method in the long run. I'm sorry.
You could.
Yeah, if you want.
You want me to read on?
Yeah.
Says K. Chen, still expert at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and North Carolina State University. So this is at universities. The appears to slow the growth of the embryo, notes Chang, and organs grown from such embryos as they develop now would likely be rejected by humans since they would contain so much pig tissue. Also, he's like, these won't even likely work in humans. So yeah, them selling that as like some sort of way to replace organs is kind of science fiction so far.
Mm-hmm.
The next big step, says Chang, is to figure out whether it's possible to increase the number of human cells the embryos can tolerate. The current method is a start, but it still isn't clear if the hurdle can be overcome. But to agree, nothing that. Oh, sorry. Monte used the process to create functioning human organs. The technique would be put to use much sooner as a way to study human embryo development and understand disease. Oh, there you go. He's like, well, if we use pigs with human parts and we can work on these parts and experiment on the drugs and you know. Reasoning. Mix DNA, they're part of human, and then you're just straight out killing them and experimenting.
And humans that they're taking stuff from, like, I mean, they're literally emitting. Okay, we're back here. We're just going to be pulling up here in a second the human ear that was grown on the rat. Says the ear was grown by turning stem cells into cartilage cells, which were placed inside plastic tubes shaped like a human ear on the back. The framework was dissolved after 2 months, leaving behind a 2-inch ear lying flat against the animal's back.
Can we get a photo of this?
Yes,
this
we
ear?
are going to be getting a photo of this in just a second
should be nice.
here.
All right. Yeah, here you have another one of these imaginary animals, standing all of 4.5 feet tall. And supposedly they didn't have fire back then.
There's actually more than one of these, in fact.
Oh man, there's a bunch of them. All right, I gotta show you this. This is crazy.
We'll pull up this one first once this loads.
All right.
Because this is the original one, if I remember correctly. And this is the original mouse here that they did.
I hope that's
They took and they had a mold of a human ear that was put on this mouse's back, or rat's back, or its back. So yeah, they put it on the mold of the ear on the mouse's back, produced the human cells into that mold to form and grow the human ear.
there it is crawling out.
This was when it was formed on the body.
You know what? I think I saw that picture. The other one's crazy though, because it looks just like.
And then this one shows it really popping out of
It's side.
it.
But amazing. And that's where this is. Gee, or whatever.
It actually has more than one ear.
What?
It
This is
even
not
has
fake.
it. So that's actually real.
Scientists who have grown a human ear on the back of rats say they will. Oh no, that's.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That is the fake one.
All right.
Okay,
God,
hold
damn
on. Is real with multiple ears on it.
It's all good. But yeah, that's pretty amazing that they would be allowed to do that.
Yeah,
to
there
animals.
is one though that literally it's got like 3 or 4 ears growing off of it, and it just freaked me out so bad when I saw it. I was like, that poor animal.
Yeah, and you notice that it's got no
because-
hair. Did you notice that too?
Some of them did have hair still.
Yeah.
Some of them, but most of these rats were hairless.
Huh.
And
Just like a human.
they said that these rats actually can hear out of these ears too, though.
No,
And that's
what I was
horrible
gonna ask.
thing
Wouldn't it be
about
crazy
it.
if they could hear through them?
Yes, they can actually hear through these ears.
Wow.
And that's the horrible thing about it, is that they could hear through that ear.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible that they're doing this to the mice.
Yeah, I'm trying to
And then
find
the
it.
pigs, I mean, if they're doing this to the pigs too.
All right, now let's look up the sheep.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What the hell was that sheep's name? It was like Daisy. Not Daisy.
Yeah.
It wasn't Buttercup. I know that. Oh, here we are. Oh. Baby sheep.
This was in a bio bag.
Oh, they grew a sheep in a bio bag. I've seen them do that with a chicken egg. That's pretty crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have to show you that one.
Yeah.
So there is
Oh, wait, no.
something. Baby sheeps.
Dolly.
Dolly, that was it.
Was
Like
she?
Dolly Parton. Now I remember. It had nothing to
Yes.
do with Daisy.
Dolly euthanized for lung disease after 6-year-old clone sheep. So it was Dolly the sheep.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and she actually did have a baby. She was actually able to reproduce.
Oh, wow. And
That's
she
her and
had
her baby
human
there.
genetics
hmm
in her.
But we'll go back and we'll show the one that was done in the bag.
All right.
This is a lamb fetus being grown inside of an artificial room here.
That is interesting. So a factory could produce a bunch of lamb chops about now.
And actually,
They'd
there
be
are
expensive, right?
they're
I don't know.
basically.
Would it be
I-
more expensive? I
I've
don't know.
heard that there are factories that have literally.
It's really interesting.
And to me, that's just vile and disgusting. To think that your meat is just being. But then again, I mean, think of the impossible meats that they have that you don't even know what is going into that. I mean, they say it's
Sure.
plant-based stuff, but they've got these meats that taste like real meat.
Oh, man.
Yet, supposedly it's plants.
Oh, like the veggie burger.
And like some of it smells, even when you're cooking it, it even smells like real meat. And you're gonna tell me that there's no meat byproducts in it.
Mm. Yeah, no.
I don't know. To
Yeah, I don't know
me,
if I believe
like
that.
I don't believe it.
Huh.
And then the fact that there's literally been proof that places like McDonald's and Burger King have been caught with horse meat,
Oh,
not just cow meat, but horse meat and human meat.
oh no! Come on now. I heard they had.
Cadaver meat.
I heard they had.
Cadaver meat.
All right, all right. I heard they had kangaroo meat.
Kangaroo meat was
No, I'm
was one. Actually, kangaroo meat was one for
Where's
us
Jason
Australian
tonight?
people. So, Jason, if you are out there listening, I don't know if you want to be eating no McDonald's or Burger King down where you live, because honestly, ever since hearing that cadaver one, I really have not been able to eat much McDonald's or Burger King. But then again, I don't eat the burgers. I do the chicken nuggets. But then after seeing that pink sludge crap back in the day,
Oh,
really haven't been able to eat the chicken nuggets since then.
I used to work at McDonald's.
I did too.
Yeah,
And
see,
Burger
I thought
King.
so.
And that's another reason why, you know, seeing people drop food and literally picking it up and putting it back in boxes and then serving it and having to call health control on people.
Oh, I've started. Yeah, I definitely started cooking for myself more as I got older because it's just the things that I've gotten.
You can cook better food for yourself, anyways.
Like,
just learn how to cook.
Oh yeah, like always check your burger. Don't just go bite into the thing. Like you never know what those suckers put in there.
You find a rat hair in there.
15-year-old guys that are back there making your sandwiches. It's like another thing about the vegans is like, yeah, that's great. You can make burgers that taste like meat and stuff. Do that and keep it up and make as much as you want because that leaves more meat for me.
Yep.
And you know what? I will keep my tenderloins and my sirloin.
I can't believe that I actually was vegan.
Yeah, I know.
In high school.
Yeah, I do remember that too. I remember.
Yeah.
After you mentioned it, I was
in
like,
my
oh,
yearbook,
yeah.
one of the kids in my senior class literally signed it, telling me that at our 10-year reunion, he was going to take me out for a big, red, rare, juicy T-bone steak.
Sure enough.
And we literally ran into each other about the time that my 10-year reunion should have been, because we never had one. Mm-hmm. And he goes, so you want that T-bone steak? And I just smacked him on the back, and I'm like, sure, when we going out for it? And he looks at me, he goes, wait, you eat meat now?
Ah,
And I'm like, yeah, but still no rare.
you just
I'm like,
try
when
it.
it's bloody, I still can't do that.
But around here, we've got some nice crispy. Ooh, sorry. We got some Rice Krispie treats here.
Some
Yeah.
special.
Oh, I'll show
Rice
these.
Krispies.
Special. Oh. They're with what would those be? Pebbles and a lot of butter. So we'll enjoy
Special
those.
butter.
All right. Let's see how this goes. Is this one or two? I
Basically,
count.
probably two.
I think this is one. Let's see. Yeah, that's one. They're supposed to be square. Oh,
That's
oh,
technically two.
no, that's one.
That's
It looks like
technically
one when I
two
hold
for
it.
this kind.
Yeah, but when I hold it together,
If it
looks
was a
like one.
regular Rice Krispie treat, it would be two.
I'm
Or,
gonna,
I mean, if it was a regular Rice Krispie treat, it would be one. But this kind, it's two.
I'm gonna eat this whole thing though, and that makes it one. Let's press it together.
Back to the science
Yeah.
lab and off the
All right,
Krispie
all right.
treats. Because I
Mm.
think we've lost everybody.
Well, that's all right. We don't need people. Sit here and
We
talk.
don't need people. All right.
Yeah. Goodbye. No. All right.
So back to Lucy, or
Yeah,
are
where
we
does
going to talk
Lucy-
about Dolly, or what are we?
Yeah, we can talk about. Let's talk about Dolly. Well, we don't.
All right.
No, I mean, yeah. But I'd say that Lucy in this chart here falls into biological and cultural. I don't know. Using evolutionist charts is like trying to get things from cartoons, political cartoons or something. There we go. Gnosticism. All right. So Dolly was a sheep that, when it was in its embryonic stage, they injected it with human DNA. But what part of the human DNA were they trying to make a smart sheep? Did they take the brain part of the human DNA and inject it with that? Because I didn't see any ears on Dolly. But we got to figure out what's going on with Dolly. I don't mean Dolly Parton. I mean that sheep.
No, you mean any extra ears? I mean, she has ears.
Yeah. She's got her sheep ears.
Yeah. You mean,
So it makes me wonder, like, what part of the human DNA did they inject? Like, was it the brain?
well, let's see what it says.
Because they tried to do an ear with the rat, but if they put a human brain in it, were they trying to make a sheep that talks? Because if they make animals that talk, Disney would buy that, and then they would have talking animals at Disney World. I guarantee it. That's what it's all coming to. And
All right.
I truly believe it. Yeah.
It says they removed a donor egg cell from the egg, enucleation, and then Finn Dorset, nuclear donor, removed cells from sheep udder mammary cell, selected a single cell, combined cells using electroshock, bioblast, the combined cells begin to divide normally to become a biocyst. The combined cells now has a single nucleus from the nuclear donor. The blastocyst is placed in the uterus of a surrogate ewe. The blastocyst develops into a fetus in about 5 months. A lamb is born, Dolly.
I'm going to show this photo. The diagram.
The human DNA is from two different. Yeah.
Explains it. But you know, it'd be really better and cooler if they did inject it with human brain, and then those shit could talk. But I don't think that's how it's gonna be.
No,
Maybe
yeah.
someday.
Maybe,
But it would be
someday.
so screwed up because then you would have like those critters from the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
It's very
That's
true.
exactly what you'd have is that laboratory.
And basically, they have tried doing stuff like that. And I mean, like, it wouldn't surprise me if there are actually been experiments that have been successful with stuff like that. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we see in movies is because it's
I have
stuff
no
that
doubt
they've
someone's doing
literally
that shit.
done.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, a lot of your myths come from actual things that did happen in the past that people have just forgot about.
Mister. Oh, Missing Mod's in the chat again.
Oh, okay. Hello there, Missing Mod. Can we start over? Well, where do we need to go back to, Missing Mod?
There we go. Yeah, I like that. My cheering party. All right.
I even got my
thank
sea
you.
science on tonight. I think we might have to.
All right, I'll make
Yeah.
another one. We should make us another
Oh man,
blunt.
I definitely had a nice seizure earlier because I'm freaking
Yeah.
bruised up.
Well, geez. When that was when we were out and about.
Just thank you, Missing Mod. We try.
Well, you know.
And we
around
ended
here we call it handsome for me, but you know.
we ended up losing our Victoria tonight. She joined us for a little bit, but
Yeah, she had to go take care of stuff in the
the lab.
yeah.
Let's take care of sea squirts and
So maybe coming back though. Yeah, well, you know, if you want to label stuff and go labeling things. All right.
we
So-
don't exactly do labels here.
Hopefully you heard that bit about the sheep because it was really important, but it ended up being not what we were really talking about. But that's fine. I still remember the sheep. Oh, I don't know. Well, were you trying to define? Never mind. We're not gonna get into that.
Yeah, we
into
won't get into that.
No. But Missy Mod, you're welcome to come on the show. I think I threw the link in there,
Yeah, we should have the link up here.
but you're probably busy. So, and that would be fine. You know, we're just chilling though, and trying to think of what the hell were we talking about? Oh,
Tell Missing Mod.
these Sasquatches. We can bring it back. So there you have it. The mini sass. Found in. Hang on. Let it load. I don't know. It's not loading. Is it when you're on? No, hang on. Oh, there we go. South and East Africa. There were these mini Sasquatches long, long ago. Once upon a time in East and South Africa. So believe it, because you know they prove it with these bones that might not be connected. What are you getting into in conversation? All right, here. So you gotta find these bones, and then you gotta imagine that they're all supposed to be connected, and then you gotta prove it, but they never really proved it. All good. Yes, we are best buddies, and I think
Yeah.
best friends.
You
I'm
already
about to die.
finished
All
your
right. Here we go.
Crispies, and I'm like still sitting
Oh,
here.
I wolfed that down. You
working
could
on
probably
that.
hear me crunching on it in the background. The snap, crackle, pop. With the crispy.
That sounds like my back in the morning when I stand up. Every time I go to stand, I hear my little niece yelling from the other room, Rice Krispies!
Well, with the Fruity Pebbles, it's kind of like, that's like a company that took another product of another company and then sprayed them and made a bunch of different colors. and threw it in a bag and sold it again. It's like it's genius.
Not only did they color them, they flavored them, and
Well,
they're
yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
They're
it's
so
that's
unhealthy, but they're so
yeah, that's
good.
red dye number 21 or whatever.
Bring on the cancer then.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
Well, luckily,
it's good
we've
food.
discovered that cancer is caused by chemicals, so that can happen. But
Sugar.
mostly, it's caused by
Sugars. Sugar feeds cancer.
well, yeah, but mutation.
Mutations,
Yeah,
yes.
mutations cause the cancer. So
And supposedly
That's
that's another
another-
reason why they're
Yeah.
doing these animal breedings and
oh, sure.
why the evolutionists want to prove that evolution is real through the animal clonings and all this other
Sure.
stuff.
Sure.
But basically, they're saying that by cloning these animals and different things like that, oh, well, if we do these animal clones and so forth and so on, we can heal this disease, we can heal that disease. And like we were talking, was it not last week, but the week before when we were on? We had talked a little bit about some of the different diseases that they use to prove that evolution is real and everything. I'm trying to think
the
about
sickle cell anemia.
yes.
Some sort of blood disease that makes you immune to what was it? Malaria, I think.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
think it's
immune to some disease, but then you also, on top of that, you have a blood disease that makes it so that your red blood cells can't carry the oxygen like they're supposed to. So is that a beneficial mutation?
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you might get
it may
malaria.
benefit you in some ways, but in other ways,
But what if some of them can still get malaria? I mean, I don't know. Is it 100% effective? You know what I mean? So it's like a beneficial mutation should be defined as like a gain of information. And that's what's not happening.
yeah, because like
this is like either a change of epigenetic information switching over to a different part of your genome, or it's I forgot what I was talking about. Man,
it's some crispy treats.
man, those are great crispy treats.
But
good job.
I know, like, I'm trying to remember which other mutation it was that's supposed to be a beneficial mutation, but you're not supposed to be able to get another disease if you have this mutation.
Sure.
Yet there have been people with that mutation that have gotten the disease. So there's always the other side where even though they have it,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's not always beneficial.
Yeah, where are the bennies? We want the beneficial mutation.
Like we want a complete beneficial mutation, something that's gonna make you better. Where are those?
like
We don't want something that
like two hand. No, I mean three hands. There you go.
4 hands. Be like,
sure, yeah, like
like the girl from what is that fighting game that Mortal Kombat with the extra arms or whatever. I remember the little kids I used to babysit playing that, and they always used to play against me using that girl, and I used to get so mad because I'm like, every time they feel like kicking my butt.
button smashing the victory.
Oh, well, basically, I just became a button smasher, and then I basically became the button smasher that ended up kicking everybody's butt, not even knowing what I'm doing.
Well, that's how that game was, man. over. I don't know.
But yeah, where are like beneficial mutations that, like,
yeah, and there would
basically
have to be
like me, I don't sleep.
Sure.
Yet, where are the beneficial mutations of somebody that doesn't sleep yet feels completely rested, and not like me where I don't sleep yet. During the daytime, I feel like I'm just gonna drop 24/7.
Yeah.
Where somebody that doesn't sleep yet can function all day long.
At least you can crash here and there.
That is true.
And, Naps are important.
Definitely.
Sure. Welcome back.
You know, like, I mean, think about what if a person could just constantly go without having to sleep, or
Ah,
even without, like, what about people with like certain jobs, like doctors or something like that, that they wouldn't have to sleep, wouldn't have to stop and really eat or drink or whatever,
that'd be
you
a
know?
beneficial mutation, yeah.
Like, or
And even
people,
then, it's
or
like,
like
would that
humans
just
growing gills
sure?
to be able to go
Like on
underwater
Waterworld,
and
that's what I
die.
want. That's what
Yeah, you know, where's that?
yeah.
If we supposedly came from fish,
Yeah,
why
where
don't
are the
we have
people with
gills still?
gills? Yeah. I mean, they say we have parts of fish brains in our brain, and I'm just like, no, we have human brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we came from fish, why don't we have gills? Why can't we breathe underwater?
Yeah, and like, what would humans be turning into after this, you know?
You know, and for people that like they have these people that they call human mermaids
Oh,
that
they can
can
go do it?
literally dive down and swim to ocean depths without using any sort of breathing equipment. And they can be down there for quite a long time.
And they say that is
But
genetic, and but it's an epigenetic change.
yeah, yet
You know?
these people, they don't have gills or anything. But how come
Mhm.
these people who are literally spending that much time underwater, how come they don't develop gills or
Oh,
webbed hands or webbed feet to help them swim better?
yeah.
If evolution was real, shouldn't they be evolving to
Mhm.
become a superior underwater species?
Yeah, and they basically have to fast evolve, and that's basically what evolutionists are getting stuck into. Because, like, if you have part of an ear, oh, the
Uh-oh.
cat's
Cat's getting
pooping.
sick. Oh, ugh. Dude, that was a big
So,
one too.
if you have half of an ear, you know the ear is going to disappear. Or if you
Oh,
have a person with, you know, part of a new arm, that arm's probably not going to be carried on in the future generations. Oof. How much did she eat?
a lot.
All right. So yeah, so these beneficial mutations would have to add things because otherwise you're just losing things every generation. You'll be getting more blind people, more blind animals, you know, and like you can be blind and still reproduce. So all their children be more likely to be blind. But the way that they believe evolution works just isn't how it works. Like things don't just fast evolve. God, she's really pooping. I'll be right back. And we're back. So, but yeah, like we were saying, you know, these beneficial mutations are few and far between. While they would need billions of examples where not just beneficial mutations, but instances where information was added on that was useful to the genome, you know, beyond what it already existed. So, and I mean, you might have examples in nature where there's animals, even different populations of the same looking animals that have different anatomy. Okay. But it's an assumption that one gave rise to the other, or that the one that has something gained is the offspring of the one that doesn't possess it, where it's more likely that the offspring would be the one who's missing the anatomy. For instance, an example is the blind cave fish. You know, we have an example where the eyes are actually falling out or are disappearing on this animal because it hasn't been used. Like they're not using that anatomy. So an epigenetic change is occurring where the entire section of that genome is being shut off. You know, so understanding epigenetics and the new discoveries in that field where the human genome is really just a bunch of sections of coding that are turned on and off by switches, sort of leading out to branches, you know, so you would shut off an entire branch, a part of the genome, and you'd lose that anatomy. And that's the kind of mutations that are occurring generationally, even where you see animals that are missing limbs, you know, being born without limbs or born without different anatomy that their parents possess. So what you mainly see with mutation is the loss of functional anatomy, not the gain of functional anatomy. Okay. And all the examples of claims where they claim that anatomy was gained, like I think there's a guppy that can climb up a wall, you know, because it has special suction cups.
Yes.
You know, so you have that example. But that doesn't mean that that guppy arose from other guppies. I mean, it doesn't even mean they can mate with them. They're probably not even the same species of animal. They just look alike. And there's a lot of cases in nature where animals look quite a bit alike, yet can't reproduce with each other. But to sit there and assume that one arose out of the other is pure fantasy. It's conjecture. So, you know, it's an assumption, and you know what happens when you assume. So.
Makes an ass out of you and me.
Yep, there you go. So, I think we've talked for an hour, and I think we're all looking like we're about to. Unless you got some more, we can go into stuff next week, I guess, too.
Yeah, I think.
Plan for something more. Maybe even go into Lucy a little bit off screen and talk a bit about that.
Yeah, I think we're
We'll
pretty much.
slap at Lucy again next week.
There we go. Sounds good.
Well, thank you, Jolene, for coming on, Victoria.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll see you all next week. Stay strong and God bless.
God bless.
God bless.